Good morning. I guess we got a new channel name now. I don't know how many names I could have for this place, and what's in the name? I don't know. Each time it seems to change everything and nothing at all. So 17 Sun Tarot. Even though I haven't been doing tarot, I've been doing Oracle, runes, and everything beside the point of tarot. Because, well, my head works a little different, I guess, than everyone else's. But hey, everybody's head works the same, and everyone's head works different, doesn't it? I wanted to express gratitude and send blessings to everyone, everywhere. Day by day, things will get better. Last night, or this morning actually, I had an angel, well actually it's a person I know of, visit me in my dreams. Seems like true angels seem to dress in black, and they're like owls. And she's been a great help on my journey. And I don't know what I'm doing. Hell, I don't know if anybody knows what the hell they're doing. But someone told me I personally woke up and things felt a little different. And I started kind of get excited, seeing her in my dreams. And she helped me understand some things. Of course, I've forgotten them now. But it's all in there, right? And so I wanted to give her a reading and see where this might go. So, as the fool would do it, or have it done, let's start with get some lines of change. Just I got a pen right here. I never have what I need when I need it. But I always have what I need when I need it. Just a moment. Okay. Here we are. A reading for some mysterious person out there. It's for you, I guess you'll know it. It's maybe for many people. That's the amazing thing about this. It's all in how you look at it. Like the news, right? I mean, if it matters, it matters. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we all live in the same world. And things can mean many things at one time, even though, yeah, let's leave it at that. It's 7. 9. 6. 2 changing lines in a row. 7. 7. And 7. Oops. I'm brought to this morning, I'm thinking about change, right? And how we want to hold on to a spot, but we can't hold on to any spot. Everything's changing. But how can everything be changing, but something stay the same? How do we get, I guess ultimately, what I'm thinking about is love and a relationship. How do we get there from so far away? Is it by magic? Especially if we see someone in our mind and they're so far away and we can't just call them up. And that's just going to mess it up and ruin it seems. So how do we run away from the person we want and still get there? I mean, we can't run away. How the hell does this shit work? I wish somebody would tell me. Yeah, I wish it'd be the person I want to be with. But I don't know who I want to be with. I think it's this person. Later on, I think it's that one. But ultimately, we only want to be with ourselves. Okay, I love myself. I want to be with myself. Oh, well, that ain't going to last long. Oh, that's going to last a lifetime. Life is paradox. That's all I know. All we can do is what we can do. We don't know anything. And God is a goddamn problem. He, she, it, the thing, spirit, whatever you want to call it, universe. We're the only ones that can see. Everything else somehow built itself all by itself. Just so that we could get here and be stuck in our heads looking at it all as God. Well, who the hell's God? Especially if it takes two of us. But there is two of us. And there's two of us. And what the fuck? Just to be in the moment of passion or holding hands or just to be in comfort knowing, hey, I'm at work, but everything's fine because my wife's at home. But then when you're there, it's just running away, running back and forth at and to each other at any distance. What we got here? Looks like she's got a wind over the sky. 9 into thunder on the sky. 34. And in a fashion we recently picked up, let's see what the addition of it adds to. So we got 42. Okay. So that brings us to. May this resonate with you. If it doesn't, then leave it at the door. But if you came in the door, well, it must be something. Some reason came here. And if it was for me, well, I have a door over there. You can come to that one. We begin with nurture of the small. Nurture of the small is successful. Dense clouds, not raining, come from your own western region. It's foggy as hell out there. Not raining, yeah. Nurture of the small means that flexibility gains status, and above and below respond to it. Powerful, yet docile, with strength and balance. Your aim is carried out, and thus you succeed. Dense clouds, not raining, means still being on the move, coming from your own western region, means practical measures have yet to be executed. What's practical? was measured. Wind traveling up in the sky symbolizes nurture of the small. Thus, do leaders beautify the qualities of their culture? Coming to the power of greatness. Her and I, you and me. Yes. Because who's small? We're all small. We're all nurturing each other. We're all nurturing ourselves. Trying to create a more harmonious world. And then executing it or being on this cross is like the power of greatness. But the power, right? It's back to the small. Nurturing. Greatness. The power of greatness benefits the true. The power of greatness is powerful. It is powerful because of strong action. The powerful greatness benefits the true. That is, if the greatness is correct. Make greatness right, and the conditions of heaven and earth can be seen. Thunder is up in the sky, representing the power of greatness. Whatever is improper, cultured people avoid doing. Which, that's tricky, because what is improper? If it's in development, and we're nurturing the small, which means that there'll be change. But how can there be a pinnacle if the pinnacle always turns upside down? Well, in the addition of them two together comes to increase. Love it, love it, love it. Increase is worthwhile if it is going somewhere. It is worthwhile to cross great rivers. Increase means decreasing the higher to add to the lower. The delight of the people is boundless. Going down from the higher to the lower, the path is very brilliant. It is worthwhile if it is going somewhere, meaning that there will be happiness if you are balanced and upright. It is worthwhile to cross great rivers, meaning that the path of harmonious action is carried out. Increase is active in a harmonious way, progressing day and by day without bound. As heaven disperses and earth produces, their increase is universal. In any case, the path of increase goes along with time. Hey, it's 10 o'clock. All right. That's a good opening. We're nurturing the small, the power of the great, working in increase day by day as time comes and goes by. And we're here. Well, let's start with some roses. I need to study more, but sometimes knowing too much makes it difficult, doesn't it? As we just passed 1414. That and change. There's no change. What's change? Especially if you don't have it, maybe you don't need it. But if you have it, and you gotta share it. Might as well. If you don't have it, well, it must be coming. It's on its way. If you really need it. says things are coming into alignment, and they're aligned, and we're moving along in parallel together. We each must be working towards a goal, and I guess that's where aligning is. What is not in alignment? What is not aligned and needs to change? What can we change? If things are coming into alignment in the first place, and it seems as though there's a kind of fate making things come together where when we look back, it always shows we couldn't have done anything different. It was perfect. How crazy is that, right? I don't know. There's questions for the collective, for the individual, the group, and the individual. We got a house flew out there. There's planet, and came out with another house. Well, I guess we got two houses. We need a sign. Give us a sign. Oh, holy sign. Hey, we get two signs. All right. We'll go roll with that. One planet, Uranus. Two houses and two sides. Is that contained? You know, how do we bring our houses together? I just forget what order. If it's the sign and all right. It seems as though you, I, and we, this person, and that one you're thinking of, are working upon. Okay, so we got Uranus in Virgo and Gemini in the 4th and the 7th houses. So we're seeing an unusual example of the methods for the healing power of as you did in the past, and information to explain balance. In the material or the mental, I mean, a different way, seeking a different way of the analyzing of your home base or your family. And communications about cooperation. Right. Seeking that. These two houses and two signs in Uranus, two containing place and time and two people trying to come together, and the separations that seem to exist between all of us. The physical and unexpected change, we're expecting an unexpected change resulting from the perfectionism of probably is the right order. It says, do what makes you feel secure. resulting from the fluctuations of your partners. An unexpected change resulting from the fluctuation of your partners. Right. We're trying to align our home base and family, and finding that what happens in the past is unusual, but there's healing power within it. The thing going through all these changes and fluctuations in our separations and together, and bringing it back into balance. But what's back into balance if it was always out of balance, but it was balanced? And yet everything seems to be apart, and in separation, seeking both validation and a sense of self, and union or reunion, so things can move across, can maintain their individuality, and also come together. Kind of like the issues with marriage, right? The relationship comes together. It seems like in most cases, either you knew the person, and well, it can go several ways. We all know, like, we have a best friend that's opposite sex, and it just goes great. And then as soon as you get together as a relationship, then it falls apart. Then what changed? We were best friends. But that's the best way to do it, right? Is to know each other and to develop. And so more likely than not, that's going to be the proper way to go, is to know each other and to develop as we go. Friends or enemies, whatever, and to have a long-standing relationship that develops. But then also the weird thing about having just ran into somebody and, hey, I met this person, and then it goes great. You have amazing sex. It lasts. And then whether you're together 1 year or 6 years or whatever, and you know each other's families, everything's all good, and maybe even have children out of wedlock, whatever the case may be, because there's no judgment. The things, like, nobody's really in control. Nobody's in control. That is terribly scary, isn't it? As a parent, as a child, as a leader. And then you get married, and then it starts to fall apart. What the fuck is wrong with that? Right? How would that happen? It doesn't make sense. And that's a hump, I guess, that this reading is trying to speak about. It's about long-term growth and developing together. From near or far, with all and separate. And what's the competition? What's the fight about? And developing. Because through the struggle and having got over something together and individually really makes us a lot stronger. Like, for instance, you get married, as an example. You're married, it's going along fine, and everyone has blind spots themselves and each other and in the world. And in our heads, we even have what I call a division line, and the spirit does as well. And each of us has this specific division line that somehow aligns us in a certain place in the cosmos, or gives each of us a certain special ability, but a weakness at the same time, like Achilles' heel. You're going along, and then somehow someone gets caught in the moment and somehow cheats. However, whatever. And then having to admit that, and then the other person is on that divider line. It's the opposite of the cheats. Like, they feel like they've been cut in half. But then that shows a weakness and a strength in both parties, and that they have to look at in themselves and each other and mend the relationship. And then once that development has fully fixed itself, then that relationship is infinity stronger by continuity and willing to go through the difficulty together and apart. And we're each on a solo journey. We're each on a journey together. However you want to look at that. And so that's the real strength and test of a relationship. Thinking too much can definitely get in the way. And not thinking at all can get in the way too. But how can you align that when each of us has a head? And that's what is it for? If it's not to think. Well, I mean, it's good for making out too. We got she dropped four divine feminine cards here. So let's see what we got. First, we got Fatima, the mother of the Imams. Love is my lineage, and gratitude, my religion. It's a little bright here. The light on kind of high. It's so dark in this room. This is like the only light I got. Here's there. All the lights just gave up. I only got a ring light. The missing one. Secondly, she reminds us that our heart, who's her, is a prophetess of true power. Thikla. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Hey. Here with a tiger. And her head's on fire while she holds up what appears to be a star or a ring that make a ring around her head like this. I just described as ring light. Ah, look at this one. This one's full of symbols in red. And here, her head's on fire. Here, this one's covered. There's a balance in that. It says, I call my power back from all times and all places. I am my own. So we got Islam. We got Greece. Now we have the Orient. China. Queen Yin. Or Kuan Yin. Ah, here it's a combination of both. The fire on her head is now red, but not symbols, but the petals of a blooming rose, maybe, a flower. And then the ring light is actually just light. Is this an evolution of the head, the woman's heart? The head is the heart. If we have it in the right place. The goddess of compassion. I recognize suffering in order to release it. And curiosity breeds compassion. Oh, and the only upside down one, last as 4, going along with earlier, about the first high priestess in Hejuana. We got Lilith, but she's upside down. The first woman. But the first woman, see, this is interesting. Because we have Adam and Eve, right? So, God apparently was lonely. What? He made everything. God made everything, all this stuff. And it's like, damn, who am I going to talk to? I guess I'll make this guy. There's all creatures and shit. But none of them look like me. I'm going to make this guy. And the guy's like an animal. He's so innocent. But he's not like an animal because, well, he's like God. But he's not like God. He's just like, what the? I'm talking to myself. He gets upset, like it throws a tantrum, he's like, God, I'm lonely. The guy's like, what? You're lonely? I made you talk to me. What? You're selfish, God. What the hell is your problem? I want somebody that I can touch. I can touch you. You made all this stuff is separate from me. This ain't right. What he would have said if he had a brain. So, okay, fine. You're right. You're right. Because I'm separate from everything as God. You know, I made all this stuff. And then I made you like me, but you're me, but you're not of. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay, fine. I'll take a piece of you out, and I'll make a, a balance. Fine. You got Eve. But then you got like this thing keeps unfolding because God is a goddamn problem to God's own self, right? So then God tells the bull, "Hey, don't fuck with that tree." What tree? You know the tree. I'm talking about. Okay. And then the last one is curiosity breeds compassion, right? So what does she do? She's like, I don't know about this God character and all this other stuff. And Adam, but I'm gonna figure out what the fuck this tree's about because it seems like all this shit, all these motherfuckers, they're plotting against me. Everyone just wants to fuck me. I want to see what they're fucking talking about. She goes and checks out the tree, eats that apple. Has that, and then the story continues. Like, oh, now we're naked. What? How could you see you're naked before? And yeah, that's the whole point. Like this nudity keeps going on where everything you're like, oh look, I got this. Oh, I'm sorry, making you feel bad now because I got it. Okay, fine. Here, I'll make you one. Oh, now you're mad because you don't have the only one. Fuck. This shit just keeps going on. Fine, we'll have 2 kids. And then one gets jealous of the other. The story continues. It's the same thing. One brother kills the other because he's jealous. What the hell? It's the same for everybody. Cain gets cast out. But then what? His friends and his enemies are both the angels. Like they were already kind of separated from God anyway by being the kids of Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve stay in the garden. Then Cain's the first one to actually gets to get the fuck out of his parents' house and he gets to go see the world. But then he gets these curses cast upon him. But those curses are actually blessings because it gives him these powers nobody else fucking has. But he's the first one to kill, but he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. His parents don't know shit. They're babies. And they made all the fucking mistakes first. And each mistake just made all these new solutions and all these new problems. There's all these people outside the garden. Well, so Eve wasn't even a woman. She was an entity. Like Adam was an entity. Like the tree and the snake were an entity. And God was an entity. And shit, what's going on here? But Cain and Abel, they were the sons. They were like the first people. They came from people, sort of. And he's fucking getting bombed by angels. Where'd the angels come from? Who the fuck made it? Where the fucking angels come from? I thought it was just God, Adam, and Eve, and a tree. And shit. That don't make no sense. Yeah, he's got to drink blood to live, but he can't be killed. But then it says anybody that kills him, then like their lineage will collapse, and there's all these contradictions, this paradox, right? He can't be the son. I mean, this is one story I've heard. So it says he's the ultimate. He's the first vampire. He's the first human being to ever come from the garden and ever to come out, and the only one to ever deal with the fucking angels, and the first murderer. But what was murder? I mean, fucking God murdered God by making all the stuff and making somebody like him that wasn't like him, and then murdered Adam by making Eve, and then murdered Eve by making the God. Why did he put the tree there? So they could kill themselves. So Eve was the first murderer. No, Adam was the first. What the? This shit's killing me, right? And then Cain has the first human being from the garden, outside the garden. So he's the only one really carrying all this shit on and having to deal with all these fucking problems. And so his son makes the first city as civilization in that story of how we all got here. So in one way, we owe it all to Cain. In one way. You know, in the UN, one of the UN Capitol buildings, there's one of them looks like an unfinished Tower of Babel, because all this shit goes together. It's not right, it's not wrong. It's trying to figure out how to balance this change, right? Okay, well, so the first woman, well, I'll get to that in a second. The first woman was Lilith, but he met her outside the garden. So that's like Enheduanna as the first high priestess, because she's of the world. And he had to figure this shit out. Well, he was getting nuked by angels and shit. It just made him tougher. Made him immortal, one way or another. As the most innocent and the most badass and the most connected and divided person who ever existed. For her, the light's in her chest. And the moon's behind her head. The rest of her like the sun. But came in reverse. So then the sun's still up here. And her head, like I said, down here in the heart. I'm the voice of my body and soul. I choose the life that I desire to live. I see why that's inverted. Because that sounds kind of egotistical on a balance, right? That I choose the life that I desire to live. I get what I want. If not, here, look at my tits. $500? I need some new shoes. I'm the voice of my body and soul. That's a separation. Because I am. And this kind of can be seen as an egotistical statement. So, I speak over everyone. I speak for everyone. Nobody can speak. This is it. I'm the only one. But my body and soul. Or we're all sharing it. But then it sounds like an orgy. Or a rape. Makes sense why this card came in reverse. As the fourth. In balancing the heart and the mind and the story of understanding. We're trying to get our house in order. Our family, our love, our life, our morals, our... How's this shit work? God damn it. What's Jesus got to do with anything? Or people? That was a symbol. An important one at that. But very confusing and a rabbit hole unto itself. This is trust. We're doing it right. It says be in the moment, exist in development. Each knows, and the truth is always there. Be in flow, mind, body, and soul. Not separate from our emotions, not separate from our mind, not separate from each other. Existence. Exist, being. What is that word? Of continuity, of being in spiritual flow. Because I got the Oracle, the Stag, and the Water Guardian inverted. I felt like I could have finished the reading with the last. And we got these three. And they kind of put it all on the cross. Everything's exactly in accordance and proper and right. Like flying through space. Or bringing that moment of passion. Or like when the mind leaves, like when you're running. And you're not there. But you're there. Kind of like sleeping. More like being totally awake. Because that was that speck. Or that missing hole, that divider line that's being straddled, but that's not the right way to put it either. I don't want to get into the tarot, until I decide to get back to the tarot. And I don't really decide. It's not like I pick the cards out. And I'm like, well, I know what this means. This is what it means. And this is when we're going to put it, and we're telling a story, and I already know what the story's going to be ahead of time. And there's things I was contemplating before coming here. And this deck's so big. Cards are small. Let's have, okay, that one. Tricky thing is knowing where we're going. So we can maintain that. But if we know where we're going, then something can get in the way. So how do we build upon nothingness? We got vision inverted. Everything being as a dream, yeah. Well, not as a dream, like this is really real? What's real? Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's Aquarius and Gemini. Like what I said about planning for the future with imagination projecting ideals. And we're not projecting ideals, we're being the ideals on the spot. And what's ideal? It develops. It's in development. And we're there. In the future with imagination, imagination's in now. If we could see it, it's separate from us. But we can use the separation to be there and develop as a speck that is growing into a planet or a star or a snowball. I'm planning for yeah. Who could plan for that? And as soon as you get to the end to the goal, then what? it's it's a dead end kind of. And I was thinking about, damn, I dropped too many freaking cards. Whole stack of them here. And we got selectivity. But inverted. Yeah. Okay. We're not picking and choosing. Things are what they are. Because each thing is right. Not like who's picked first or last in the game, or, you know, that's really beside the point. Let's just read these straightforward now. There are no mistakes in life. The only choices. Carefully weighing pros and cons, choosing wisely between different options. But what are the options? Because you get what you get. And how can you choose wisely if the fool, the child in the room, is always going to know the right answer? Somehow, just out of the blue. I mean, that's the perfect wisdom and innocence. And mistakes in life, choices. What? We're all existing as being. And the difficulty is this duality. So we got Libra and Pisces. Acceptance. Beggars can't be choosers. Who's begging? And yeah, beggars can be choosers. Beggars are choosers because they're begging for one thing. So they'll probably get that thing. But then what? Then they're gone. No, like somebody sits on the corner and begging for money. But depending on how much they get, even if you give them $1,000 bill, they're like, all right, I need a pack of smokes. I need go get whatever my drug is, because it's got to ladder itself back. Because once you're in that position, it's about everything that's going to make you feel better. All the habits that both got you there, but those habits didn't get you there. It had to do with something else as to how you ended up in that position begging on the corner. So then people are like, oh, I don't want to give them any money because they'll just spend it on alcohol. Well, if that makes that person happy, they give them the fucking $5. What are you trying to do? Keep somebody from being happy? Oh, but if they were going to go, use it to go buy some candy and give it to some kids, that'd be okay? Those kids don't need that candy. And you could give the kids the candy. But maybe that makes that person happy. Give them the fucking $5. I don't know. So there's a lot of ways to see something. Assent to the reality of a situation. Relinquishing need to control and direct it. Exactly what I was just explaining. The flow. That's Virgo, Libra. Endurance. What was hard to bear is sweet to recall. I don't know how I feel about that right now. It's Taurus, Gemini. It's two minds about that. It's hard to bear, sweet to recall. I don't know about that one. The ability to withstand hardships or adversity. Yeah, what ability? That's not an ability. Either you live or you don't. You made it through it or you didn't. And when you thought you couldn't make it, then the next day came. It's not like you trained for the race and then it was all like set up, and then like, okay, I know what the starting line is, I know what the finish line is, I know who my competitors are, got my shoes on, the right shoes that I planned for this event, and I could see the weather, so I dressed appropriately. It ain't like that at all. What's the ability to fucking carry yourself through shit that doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's where it's hardest, and that's the only place that really gets us anywhere. Of supreme growth, of development, of strength, and I don't know. But to sustain lengthy effort. Yeah. When you didn't have any effort because you were reacting, you were trapped in an emotional, in a situation, and it balances on itself. It's all good. It's all bad. I'm so exhausted. I'm sleeping, but I can't sleep. Endurance. Yeah. Keep going. Eloquence. There's only one that came right side up out of all these. But now it's upside down because I flipped them all straight. Because you must answer the devil in his own language. Oh, yeah. Is that so? Fluent or persuasive speaking and writing, graceful communication. What? Okay, so the devil is really the ones that seems to imply that those that set up things to look a certain way are the devil, and those that know what the fuck they're doing, trying to struggle through it all, really the ones. That's the high and low and low and high thing. You got Gemini and Capricorn. Yeah, that's eloquence, huh? Hmm. Inverted. I guess that's where we're at. You're talking about Cain and Abel in the Bible and Lilith and shit. We got equanimity. Come back to that from that's inverted. Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right. Right? What's right? What's wrong? Everything is wrong as it starts with a W. If it's wrong, well, then it had a right to happen. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. And it must have been balancing something in nature because everything was too right. So that's why a wrong happened in order to create a development. And anything that's wrong can be made, and can be not made right, but can be looked at and seen from another perspective and learned from to create a more dynamic flow in the future where wrong and right kind of go together. And there's wrong isn't too wrong and right isn't too right, and there is a balance formation in flow happening. Why they created America and other cultures, for instance, are very specific. You don't do this, or we'll cut your head off. You lose your hand. Well, you can't come back from that, can you? Who's going to learn anything? Everybody who had to go through the lesson is dead. This whole thing about Cain. So then everything stays as it was. There's no development. That cripples everyone in a culture and development of the human race. Calmness and composure, sound judgment, and presence of mind. Sometimes each has a right to be in their own pillar of light and to be expressive. And that's one thing I find when talking to people, why there always has to be a stage set up and a presentation. The person then can be animated and talk about what they're passionate about, but only once they're in the place where, okay, we're at TED Talks and you're going to talk about this, you're going to talk for this much time, we had to practice, and everybody showed up to see all these people or see you in specific and whatever. And each of us is a fucking pillar of light. But then, like, you can't just, like, be in the middle of the party and be like, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Well, that's fine, but it's bothering the rest of us. But that's tricky, this balance of communication, right? And then the person just has to stand back and take it. But they don't have to take it. You can close your eyes, you can leave, whatever. But then we can't block each other out either. We got Leo and Pisces. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, a lot of exercise things here about the body. Last, we got stamina inverted. Put your shoulder to the wheel. What? Your shoulder to the wheel? Man, if I needed to start if my car needed a, I'd put my shoulder to the between the in the door jamb while I'm pushing it, and then try to get it to go, not the wheel. Otherwise, I get pulled into the car and die, and not even running. You could get stuck or crushed under the car going 5 miles an hour. Was it? So that's kind of a weird thing. Stamina, meaning this desire to keep going, as all the parts without what's a part? Meaning separation or a piece? A piece. What kind of peace? Like calmness or an individual part of a whole? It all goes together. None of it goes together. It all exists. What exists? The only thing that can see that is the human mind. That's the only thing that fucking doesn't exist. But obviously does. And does not. Is and is not. Is the essence of God and essence of death and life itself. But from an objective perspective, everything is existing. Worms crawling through the dirt, the rain happens, all that without a mind, all by itself. What good is that? Like, by itself. What's it doing it for? But you can see how it's doing it for some kind of process. Like how it rains, and then all the rains wash down to the ocean, but then all the water in the ocean is picked up by the sun and then carried back over and then dropped down and then it comes back down again, and then you got clean water and salt water, but everything came from the salt water, but nothing on land could drink salt water. You could only drink the fresh water, but the fresh water had to come from the ocean in the first fucking place. But then, like, the easiest place to get food, in a sense, is the ocean, because they got infinite freaking sea life in there. But then, it's all at the surface. But there's all this depth. But there's nothing down there. But what's at the bottom? All the human stuff that ended up down there because it wrecked. That's fucking weird. How's our dead stuff down there as eternal? Well, all the living stuff is up at the top. But it's eternal. It was here before it was even a human. And it's hardly ever changed. All just eating itself and eating each other. Mind blowing. Pisces, Aquarius. Sustaining, prolonged exertion, staying power, energy, and vigor. Yeah. More like what I was explaining, I believe. It's how are you sustaining prolonged exertion? Life is prolonged. There's no sustaining it. It sustains itself and needed everyone else to do it. And there's highs and lows like a sine wave. Let's throw a quick rune on top. We got inversion of Algiz. Inversion of power, self-defense, and protection. Yeah, honesty. Bring presence as is. Have a wonderful day. I'm starving. I'm going to eat.